What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. New video today. Today I want to talk about how semen retention reveals the chameleon female. The chameleon female is the Jezebels, the toxic women, the overall bad women that we can allow in our lives that's not good for us. But they disguise themselves as somebody that we can trust, somebody that we can open up to. And what happens is if we allow these women into our lives, they can really hurt us just based off our bad judgment on female nature. Nowadays, men are more aware. More men are coming out and we're opening up and we're talking about our experiences. So men are not wearing their heart on their sleeves. Men are more nonchalant. Men are not just jumping at the sight of a pretty woman. We actually thinking about her background. We're thinking about her past. We're thinking about how, if we even need to be in a relationship at this time in our lives. Women are noticing that, So women have to refine their behavior. The chameleons have to refine their behavior because they're not the natural virtuous woman that we need in our lives. They're recognizing that men and masculine women just can't get along. Two alphas can't be in the same room together. So when a woman is when she's trying to be dominant in a relationship, it repels men and it just kills the overall relationship. But the problem with the chameleon female is that she still doesn't respect masculine frame. Now, masculine frame is not just us acting strong. And I think I talked about this, but I'll make a video on this. It's not just us acting strong and being stoic and being unemotional. It's not just a physical appearance like Johnny Bravo. They say that the pecs and the biceps shows more dominance in a male. But guess there's another part of masculinity, and it's not just your masculine outlook or frame or physical appearance. It's also your logic, your foresight, your intelligence, your ability to win, consistency, your ability to lead and guide people as well. That is also being in your masculine. The chameleon female doesn't really respect the masculine frame. Why? Because how she was raised, her influences around her, social agendas. Simps play a big role. It's not just the woman, it's also the simps as well. Simps can really ruin women. Simps are the reason that these chameleon females, these Jezebels, these toxic women, they don't respect men. They think that all men are the same. They think that if they can just get in a man's life, they can do what they want to do. They can use their sex to manipulate us as men. But when you're on the semen retention, you dodge those bullets, you dodge those problems in your life, and you don't allow those toxic women, those chameleons, to come in your life and ruin your life. So they have to refine their behavior on the surface and act more polite, act more feminine, act more submissive, and they can wait, until they're comfortable. Sometimes they're just not aware, but sometimes they just don't respect your masculine frame. And if they can just get inside, then they can just undermine your authority as a man. So we have to be careful. Her programming is always going to be embedded into her. Plus, her overall influences, her friends. You can look around her friends and see that if they are not the type of women that you like, then they are most likely influencing her to act contradictory to what would be good for you in the success of the overall relationship and dealing with them in general. One thing I'm going to say of how we can reveal the chameleon female is just by not being thirsty, not being in need of them. If they walk away, then, if they act up, you can just simply walk away. The good things about a good woman is that she understands that you have to be number one in the relationship, and she can't be the one stealing all the attention. I hope the train not loud, but she can't be the number one person in the relationship. If she is the number one person in the relationship, then it's gonna make you lose your purpose. A good woman understands that you have to be strong as possible in order to be successful, in order to be respected. She can't get in the way of that, suck up all your attention and waste all of your time focusing on her. The problem with the chameleon, the bad woman as well, is that they still want you to be breaking you down to be weak. It makes everything fall apart. You can't be socially successful. You can't be financially successful. You can't just be overall respected as a man because you have this woman in your life constantly beating down at your life force, beating down at your energy, sucking away and undermining your manhood, so that when you go out in the world and you try to be successful, you're not at full strength because you got a woman in your life that's sucking away and draining your energy. And we see this in relationships. We see this in modern day relationships. And I don't even want to talk about the Will Smith and Jada, but that's just an example of how you can let the wrong woman into your life and be there too long, and it can really bring you down as a man because she wants to be number one. And this contradicts a woman because women want strong masculine men, but at the same time, they want to be strong, but it's going to be failure in the relationship. You can't force me to be weak, but want me to be strong at the same time. Either I'm going to be strong or I'm going to be weak. And when you're on the semen retention, you're picking the strong side. So she needs to be submissive and assist you in being as strong as possible so that you guys can be successful. Now, the chameleon, the Jezebel, the bad woman, they're going to be intimidated by your success. They're going to undermine. When you're on the semen retention, you dodge those things. You're not thirsty. So what the chameleon is going to do is she's going to either start showing her true selves with the undermining and the games, or she's just going to get away from you. Sometimes we get mad about women rejected us. Sometimes you just too strong for some of these women and they can't handle that. They want to have you wrapped around their finger. But when your mind is wrapped around chasing your goals, then you can't give her all of your attention. So the chameleon just has to wither away like the snake that she is. Number 2, sex. Using sex to provoke you, using sex to seduce you. Number one thing, when you're on the semen retention, those things don't matter. As you go days and days of denying that instant gratification, retaining that life force, just becoming strong with controlling your urges, you don't allow those sexual things that women can do, walking past you, yoga pants, all those things, Instagram models, porn, forcing you to release that life force, forcing you to masturbate, forcing you to drain all of your energy. Those things go out the window when you're on the semen retention. Most women use their bodies to get attention. Often it attracts the wrong type of men. It doesn't attract the women, the strong men that she will like. It doesn't attract the men that actually want to marry her. Most of the time when girls walk around showing their cleavage, they walk around with a snobby attitude. They walk around arrogant. Why? Because the wrong guys keep approaching them. The beta males, the weak men, the weak man that's falling for the games, those are the ones that approach them. So these girls, they walk around defensive. They walk around rude because the guys that they want just not approaching them. Those guys can be the guys that's on their purpose. Those can be the guys that's practicing semen retention. So they're just not falling for those games, falling for those traps. The thing I noticed about religions is that they want women to cover up. When women cover up, they have to show more of their personality. They have to act more nicer because the guys are not gawking at them, at their butt, looking at their breasts and things like that. So when they cover up their cleavage, the guys stop paying attention to women. So the girls have to work to show guys what they bring to the table, show guys their feminine and submissive side, because that's the way that they would get their attention. It's a good thing. It forces women to act right and be more respectable to men, because guys would just walk past them like they're invisible, which we should be doing anyway. When we're on the semen retention, we really should just be walking past these girls like they're invisible and just focusing on our purpose. But I understand it's hard. But the last thing you need when you already have a high sex drive as a man is to allow these girls to walk past you and really just take your focus off everything. But we're retaining. So the chameleon female realizes that she got to really work on herself. And if sex and showing her body parts was her way to get men to fall for her to get dominance over men, then she doesn't have nothing else. Now, either she's going to work on herself or she's just going to get the hell away from you because you're not falling for the sexuality. So that's a good thing about, being on the semen retention, is that you're going to reveal the real side of the chameleon female, is that she has nothing. She don't have any substance. She hasn't been taught anything. She doesn't know how to be feminine and submissive and know how to get along with a man. All she does is flash her body parts and allow herself to be objectified. She ends up being a drain on you because she is not complimenting you and actually assisting you. To do is use manipulation through sex to bring guys toward her. Last point I'm gonna make, being on the semen retention, having a strong, focused mind, having a strong purpose, you avoid a lot of female manipulation. You avoid games. You avoid getting yourself hurt. You avoid having your heart on your sleeve. Stand for something or fall for anything. Stand for retaining your semen. Stand for being a better version of yourself. Stand for having an overall purpose in your life, because your masculinity can fall. Your manhood can fall. Having a purpose protects you. Now, in high school as a young teenager, I stayed out of trouble because I stayed busy. I stayed on a program. I stayed focusing on bettering myself in some type of way. Football season was 1/3 of the season. When football season was over, track season was starting. When track season was starting, baseball season was starting. When baseball season was starting, we was back at football practice. Now the guys that wasn't, doing anything with their lives, they was in the streets. They was going to jail. Some got shot, some was killed, some, was getting girls pregnant, and they were messing their lives up because they didn't have anything else to do. That's the same thing in everyday life. When you got a purpose, when you have a plan for your life, when you're focusing on bettering yourself, you're reading your books, you're doing the semen retention, you going to school, you getting up every day and you're practicing. So you're staying out of trouble. The worst thing about relapsing is that you probably relapsing because you're bored. You're relapsing because you don't have nothing to do with your life. So you just find things to kill time, and you find yourself watching porn. You don't have no structure for what you want in your life. So you watch anything, you allow anybody around you, and those things can really influence. What happens is that you end up constantly relapsing. You end up constantly just failing in life overall, because have a purpose with your semen. Be cautious with your semen. What athletes do, they hold their semen in. Like boxers, they hold their semen in until the day of their match, and they use all their strong energy to win fights, to be successful in life. That's the same thing you need to be doing with your semen. You need to use that semen with a particular program that's going to give you the energy to have the strength and the motivation to go out there and accomplish things in your life, instead of just wasting it because you don't have anything to do. Eddie Griffin told a joke. He was like, he don't want to have a baby to no weak sperm. If you just beating off and jerking off, and then if you have some kids to that weak sperm that's dripping out because you relapsing every day, then your kids might come out weak. But see, if you hold that sperm in, you hold that semen in, up until that point, maybe you practicing with your girl to have a baby or something. Now, if you shoot it out strong, and that's going to come from retaining, you can have a stronger sperm count. It's going to shoot out powerful. You might have some powerful kids. So you don't just be dripping your semen off. You don't just be wasting your semen any type of way, and just constantly draining yourself, and then you end up having some weak kids because you was a weak man at the time. You didn't have no self-discipline. That might come off in your kids. Now, I don't know if that's actually true, but I might try that, honestly. But that's actually a good way to look at things. So don't break focus. Know who you are, and don't allow these chameleon females to come in your life and drain all your energy. Drain all your masculinity, undermine you, come into your life like a Trojan horse and release those demons and just ruin you overall as a person. So we have to be retaining so we can get these females to reveal themselves, because, the patience that it's going to take for a Jezebel to be with you, to show that who she is, but you're on the semen retention, she's going to have to break sooner or later before she show that she's not that woman that she's trying to be. So, okay, my voice getting hoarse. Hit me up in the comment section. Tell me what you think about the video. Peace.